Now at 9, a Marion, Missouri man is sentenced for second-degree murder. Plus, how an organization is providing clean drinking water to a local family. And how a local farm turned into a hemp maze and haunted house.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. This is your KOAM News at 9. I'm Jalen Banks. A Lawrence County, Missouri judge today sentenced a man to prison for murder. Jamie Lee Godfrey of Marionville was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of 50-year-old Jess Davis. Police found Davis's body inside his Marionville home in September of last year. Godfrey is sentenced to 25 years in prison. We've had some really cool temps. Let's see if that continues. Doug, what do you have for us?
Yeah, we actually set record lows during the morning hours for us today. We shouldn't be getting hard freezes quite this early, but that's what we have seen. Only 48 for a high. Look at this. So that's 22 degrees below our average high for this time of the year. The low was 26. The record was 28, set way back in 1948. And we're going to set additional record lows for us again tonight. Clear skies here, clear skies across the entire Central Plains. And it's getting chilly. It's 34 in Nevada, it's 33 in Neosho, 32 in Miami. Pittsburgh is down to 31 degrees by 6 a.m., 24, 31 by 9. But we'll get up to 47 by noon. And look at this, better high temp of 57 degrees. We also have some thunderstorms in the forecast. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit.
My former St. Louis Rams fans will recognize this name. The Chris Long Foundation is teaming up with Xylem Incorporated and the Water Well Trust to provide clean, safe drinking water to a family of 6 in Knoll, Missouri. KOAM Shagun Bamdali has more on the story.
The Whitehead family is currently living with limited access to clean, potable water after lightning struck their well pump in 2021. Now, they are getting a new well drilled and installed thanks to a local company and Xylem Inc.
The old well just had a low yield, so they were only able to space out, do laundry once a day and take showers, and then they had to wait for the water to recoup, so it was a very low producing well.
With eyes filled with tears and hearts filled with emotions, the Whitehead family tells me how grateful they are to have received this opportunity.
Very humbling. I've been in tears all morning long about the whole thing because it's such a great picture of generosity, the generosity of people who care. You know, I mean, we weren't asking for a handout. We were just asking for a low interest loan, and they ended up donating everything to us.
Xylem's marketing director says the company decided to help the Whiteheads after learning about their story.
With their situation that they have four children, four foster children on top of that, and the need was great here, and we have a great local partner, so that's how we decided that this was a good fit for us.
She says life will be easier for the family with the new system.
Well, it's going to make their life a little bit easier, right? This well alone, they would have had to pay back $15,000 to $20,000 most likely with every, it's an 800-foot well. They're super appreciative. It's just gonna make their life a little easier.
In Noel, Shagun Bamdali, KOAM News.
Good news for the family. The project is expected to be done this week. The Missouri election is coming up in less than a month. Something new is that all Missouri voters must show a federal or state ID in order to vote. Officials say if you do not have a federal or state ID, then you must use a provisional ballot. That's for voters who arrive at the polls on election day and whose eligibility to vote is uncertain, allowing them to vote without it being counted until eligibility is confirmed.
What they will do is they will get a ballot, they will fill out their ballot, they will put it in a blue provisional envelope, and we get it back that Tuesday night. Come Wednesday and Thursday, we will be processing all of those provisional ballots, and those that have the correct signature and the correct information on it, those will count.
Election Day is November the 8th. Orinoco has a new family-friendly hemp farm for the 4 states to visit this fall. And as KOAM's Yana Haldala shows us, it includes a haunted maze.
This hemp maze is the only one in the area. After completing the haunted house, people will walk through it in the dark. The owner of the farm says people often have a negative image of hemp.
People still think that, industrial hemp will get you high, which is the euphoric feeling in the brain that gives you that feeling. It won't. It has all the other benefits other than the euphoric feeling.
That's why workers want to educate visitors about the plant and all the different things you can do with it.
Like my shirt I'm wearing is made out of hemp, and it's some of the softest fabric, and it washes up and lasts a lot longer than regular cotton. And so that's something that people are like surprised to see.
Newman knew of an old, unused turkey farm and came up with the idea to bring it back to life as a hemp farm.
Cleaned it out, scraped it, cut down all the non-usable stuff and salvaged what we could and cleaned it all up and cleaned out the brush.
The farm is meant for whole family to have fun while also being educated about hemp.
And to some of the members of the Missouri Department of Agriculture and the hemp program, and he had suggested doing some type of educational place to inform the community of the hemp industry and this type of variety.
The workers say they may add hemp products for sale next year to showcase its many uses.
You can just rub it right straight on your skin, put it in hair products. There's tons of stuff.
In Oronogo, Janna Haudala, KOAM News.
The farm will be open all of November, and the Haunted Maze will be open through the end of this month. We now take this time to honor tonight's Four-State hero. Scott Corner, a Hallowell, Kansas native, served in the Army from 1952 till 1954. He served in the 31st Mississippi Infantry Division. Scott Corner, we thank you. Tonight's Four-State hero. And Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. But later, we'll hear from an area kid on his chance to meet Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen.
Make the short.
Well, it turned out to be a chilly day for us today. We started with record lows this morning and then only up to 48 during the afternoon. Average high 70 degrees, so well shy of where we should be. Clear skies. It was windy again for us today. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, it's been chilly yesterday, only into the mid-50s. And then look at this. We dropped back into the 20s and hung into the upper 40s all day long. We still have freeze warnings in effect tonight. Oklahoma and Arkansas, Kansas and Missouri got a hard enough freeze that the growing season has stopped, so we don't have to have freeze warnings anymore, and most likely that will occur for Oklahoma and Arkansas after tonight. But look at the lows this morning, anywhere from Nevada 26, we're at 26 in Chautauqua, 27 in Cassville, and we only warmed up this afternoon, mid to upper 40s across the region. Now we're dropping back. We're sitting at 32 in Carthage, 32 in Lamar, 35 in Cassville, 31 at Grand Lake. Pittsburgh's at 30. It's down 29 in Parsons, so we've been dropping off pretty quickly. But we aren't alone. Look at all this cold air across the Central Plains into the eastern third of the country, but it will start to work out of here once we get past tomorrow morning. But tonight, pretty cold, 32. So we're already at freezing. Winds are calm. Humidity is at 50%. As we go through the rest of the overnight, we'll drop 24 by 6 a.m. Plenty of sunshine, but only back to 31 by 9 a.m. So that means we got 10 or 11 hours that we are going to see freezing conditions across the region. Clear skies here. Clear skies across the entire Central Plains. Here's the upper low that is slowly working out of here that is causing this cold air. And back to the west, not a whole bunch going on. So we're going to be quiet as we go through the next couple days. Let's go through time over the next 24 hours. You can see our temperatures drop near 20 later on tonight. Now, as we go through the morning hours, mid 40s by noon, most of us will top out. We're going to get a few clouds in here later on in the afternoon, but most of us will top out into the upper 50s. 24 in the morning, 47 by noon, 55 by 5 p.m. Not near as windy. Westerly winds 5 to 10. Clouds work through tomorrow night, but we only drop back into the upper 30s. Not as bad. And then look at this. By Thursday afternoon, we get southwesterly winds. We start to warm up. We warm into lower 70s for afternoon highs. So we are going to head back toward the warm direction as we go through the next few days. 57 tomorrow, 72 on Thursday, 81 on Friday, 80 on Saturday, 80 on Sunday, and then chances for rain early next week. So in the second half hour, we'll kind of break down our rain chances on Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Yeah, I think this weather really just encapsulates like what the 4 states is.
Yeah.
Having those lows in the 20s, and then at some point this week we're going to touch 80.
Yeah, 60-degree swing.
That's crazy.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Doug. Up next, a countdown to, oh, my apologies. Higher gas prices are causing problems for some small businesses. AAA reports the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $3.87. That's 55 cents higher than a year ago. Fox News' Ashley Soriano reports from Las Vegas.
Those higher prices are tough when you're filling up your tank, and it's even worse for those with a fleet of delivery trucks. Like one bakery we spoke with, they've been in business for decades.
Hi, welcome to Freed's. Hello. We're what we would call a Vegas tradition.
Freed's Bakery is a third-generation family-owned business with multiple dessert shops in Las Vegas.
Everybody in my family has had their weddings done by them. My dad used to bring me here for treats. We get a little velvet cupcake or a cannoli.
Freed's Bakery first opened in 1959.
Having been in business for over 60 years, yes, we've seen a lot. And right now it feels a little different than it's ever felt before. Gas prices obviously have increased pretty substantially. And that affects us top to bottom.
Freed's Bakery spends around $15,000 in gas each month. They've had to cut back on deliveries and raise prices. Some employees have cut their shifts because of the cost to commute. Average gas prices in the western states are above $5, with Nevada sitting at $5.23 a gallon. California ranks the highest in the nation at $6.05 a gallon.
We've dealt with a lot of crises, and so I hate to say that we're good at it now, but it feels like, like the weird fluctuations feel normal now, like the abnormal feels normal.
But some relief may be in sight. AAA says demand for gas has slowed down because of worries about a recession. As a result, gas prices are falling slightly.
If demand keeps falling, then likely your prices at the pump are going to fall too.
In Las Vegas, Ashley Soriano, Fox News.
Well, as I said earlier, coming up, the countdown to the midterms.
President Biden is hoping to re-energize his base by focusing on abortion rights. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more on the president's promise coming up.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is offering debt relief to thousands of financially struggling farmers. Today, the agency announced more than 13,000 farming operations have received nearly $800 million. Most of the farmers have direct and guaranteed farm loans that are past due. The money comes from the $3.1 billion allocated from the farmers under the Inflation Reduction Act. The push for abortion rights is front and center for the administration just 3 weeks before voters head to the polls. President Biden says he's serious about confiding Roe v. Wade, but will need a solid Democratic majority in Congress to do it. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
Vote, vote, vote.
President Biden says if his party keeps control of the House and gains a larger majority in the Senate, the first bill he'll send to Congress in 2023 will be to codify Roe v. Wade.
And if you do your part and vote, Democratic leaders in Congress, I promise you, will do our part. I'll do my part. And with your support, I'll sign a law codifying Roe in January.
At Howard Theater in Washington, D.C., President Biden asked people to remember how they felt when the Supreme Court overturned the national right to an abortion over the summer. Following it, Democrats enjoyed a surge of enthusiasm from voters, but since then, they have begun to lag in the polls to Republicans.
We're underdogs, but I grew up in Philadelphia, and we cheer for Rocky, and I think we can make a comeback if we talk about the economy.
Whether or not the promise of protected abortion rights is enough to turn out voters remains to be seen in 3 weeks. According to a New York Times poll, abortion is nowhere near the top priority for voters.
I think they're going to go to the ballot box with multiple issues. They're going to take gun violence to the ballot box. They're going to take women's reproductive health to the ballot box. They're going to take police reform to the ballot box. And they're also going to be taking inflation.
Just keeping control of the Senate won't be enough to codify Roe. Democrats either need 60 votes or enough to overturn the filibuster. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Still ahead, the Biden administration taking action.
The federal government is taking new steps to address America's mental health crisis. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington. I'll tell you how lawmakers from both parties are getting involved.
Please. Americans with diabetes are rationing their insulin because of high prices. That's according to researchers at Harvard Medical School and Hunter College. An analysis of national health data found that 1.3 million people were conserving insulin, most by delaying buying the life-saving drug. The research showed that younger adults and those without insurance were most likely to ration. Those patients also reported feeling overwhelmed by the stresses of living with diabetes. October is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the federal government is taking new steps to address America's mental health crisis. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith has details from Washington.
In a rare show of unity, a bipartisan group of lawmakers are vowing to address America's mental health crisis by rolling out new federal resources across the country. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt.
We need to get to where, as a society, you're just as willing to talk to your friends about somebody in your family who has a mental health problem as somebody who has another kind of health problem.
The Department of Health and Human Services says in addition to $300 million first announced in September, it's now doling out an additional $15 million in grants, money meant to establish and expand community-based behavioral health clinics nationwide.
That becomes the glue that really brings together this notion of providing whole health to Americans.
Research shows a growing number of Americans need help. The National Institute of Mental Health estimates 1 in 5 American adults experience some level of mental illness. The CDC says it's also seeing a spike in mental health needs among America's youth.
We are finally going to treat healthcare above the neck the same as healthcare below the neck. Not through grants that stop and start, but through healthcare.
President Biden, who says addressing mental health is a national priority, is praising the latest funding announcement, writing in part, quote, "These clinics are proven to improve health outcomes while lowering costs by delivering 24/7 mental health and substance use care to millions of Americans, no matter who they are or whether they have the ability to pay." This summer, the government officially launched the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline. This service links Americans to clinics offering around-the-clock services for anyone who needs help. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Up next, we're going to learn about a tasty team-up between Krispy Kreme and McDonald's.
Hi,
McDonald's and Krispy Kreme are testing out a sweet team-up. The two companies announced McDonald's will start selling Krispy Kreme donuts at 9 locations across Louisville, Kentucky. It is a part of a small test for the companies. The select restaurants will carry 3 of Krispy Kreme's most popular pastries, including the original glazed donut. The sweet treats will be delivered fresh every day to the locations, and customers will be able to buy them all day while supplies last. The new menu additions will only be available for a limited time. Krispy Kreme says customers can expect them to make their Mickey D's debut starting October 26th. And that's a look at the first 30 minutes of your KOAM News at 9. More news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Joplin School District holds a ceremony for the newest inductees in the district's Hall of Fame. Plus, the city of Joplin unveils this year's themes for the Christmas parade. Unite. Joplin Schools Foundation tonight recognized 5 outstanding Joplin School alumni. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more on the story.
It's a real honor for me to be here tonight. It's the last thing I ever expected in my life, but here I am, and I'm very blessed. I feel very blessed to be here.
Joplin School Foundation welcomed their inaugural class inductees into the Joplin Schools Hall of Fame. The Foundation's Hall of Fame project was created to recognize and honor the achievements of outstanding alumni from Joplin, Lincoln, Memorial, and Parkwood High Schools.
Well, the Foundation is a helping arm of the school system. We try to raise funds and for projects that maybe are not included in the current or the usual budgets for the school system.
James Goodnight is an alumni of Joplin and thinks this event will bring more people together.
It brings a lot of people together from a lot of different backgrounds, and it's just a really nice thing that they can do and help us bring good things to the students, especially the younger ones in the school system.
The Joplin School Foundation's goal is to give a scholarship to every senior who is graduating and moving on to a technical school or college.
It'll take us a while to get there, but usually sometimes it's the top 10 kids that get scholarships. We want every kid who has worked hard and is going on for further education to have some help.
The Joplin Foundation, School Foundation, has done a tremendous job, and they continue to do a tremendous job. And if this Hall of Fame has anything to do with helping that happen, I'm all for it.
The foundation hopes this will help future generations to work hard towards their dreams.
Yeah, we want the little kids to say, hey, look what can happen if we keep going and don't give up.
In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Nominations will be accepted year-round but will be gathered annually on May 1st for the coming year's induction ceremony, and nominees may be honored posthumously and must have graduated at least 25 years prior to their nomination. The theme of this year's Joplin Christmas Parade might stir up some sweet memories. The announcement came today from Freeman Health System and city leaders. The theme is Christmas in Candyland, and it's intended to be reminiscent of the classic children's board game. That game has been around for more than 70 years.
When we think of Christmas, we often think of our childhoods, we think of Christmases past, and what is more iconic than Candyland? Most people have played it themselves as children or play it now with their children and grandchildren. So I think it will be a lovely reminder of home, of family, and all of the traditions we hold dear.
The parade will be on December 6th along Main Street. It'll begin at 6 p.m. and the funds generated by the parade will go to the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Dangers boiling up in North St. Louis. Right now, the Hazelwood School District is figuring out what to do after students were potentially exposed to radioactive waste. An independent investigation revealed radioactive waste is present inside of Janet Elementary. Reporter Dion Broxton hears from parents who are asking what's next for the kids, their school, and their neighborhood.
My level of concern is almost at peak level. It's everything we thought and we're concerned could be true.
Hazelwood School's parent Ashley Bernard is outraged a new independent report showing unsafe levels of radioactive lead inside and outside of Jana Elementary School.
The Army Corps of Engineers absolutely found some of this same material.
Yes.
They found thorium, radium, and uranium.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is the federal group authorized to test and clean unsafe materials.
We asked the Army Corps of Engineers to go inside our school building, to go onto the school playground, and they refused.
The report, which was given the okay by the school district, shows the Army Corps' test dating back to 2018 as incomplete and inadequate because the samples weren't collected from inside the school buildings or the soil immediately surrounding the school buildings. The report goes on to say it's not possible to assess the risk to students and employees of Jana Elementary because the Army Corps' testing was limited to outside buildings.
And we hope, they will take these results very serious. We don't necessarily need further confirmation from the Army Corps of Engineers at this point. We need the Army Corps of Engineers to come clean up the mess.
Parents want to know what the school district will do going forward. The school didn't directly answer those questions in a statement to News 4. The statement reading, the Hazelwood School District is aware of the report regarding radioactive contamination at Jana Elementary. Safety is always our top priority, and we are actively discussing the implications of the findings. The Board of Education will be consulting with attorneys and experts in this area of testing to determine the next steps.
We'd like the next steps to have, a hard and steadfast commitment from our school leaders that we will get this waste cleaned up and out of Jana Elementary School.
Russia is targeting power and water supplies just ahead of Ukraine's brutal winter weather. Local officials say Russian missiles hit 2 power plants in Kyiv, killing at least 2 people. More than 50,000 residents lost electricity. Those strikes follow a barrage of drone attacks on civilian targets in numerous cities. American sailors are working with U.S. allies in Europe to bolster defenses as Russia continues its war in Ukraine. Crews aboard the USS Bush are carrying out exercises in the Mediterranean and vowing to defend NATO territory. Operation Neptune Strike is aimed at dominating the skies and defending against deadly weapon-like to Iranian-made drone Russia recently dropped on civilian targets. President Biden has plans to sell more oil from the nation's petroleum reserves in a bid to bring gas prices down. Some say he clearly has an eye on the election since economic issues are at the forefront of voters' minds. Fox's Madeline Revere reports from Washington.
Gas prices are on the way back down. The average price per gallon is $3.87, down from $3.92 a week ago. Now, Bloomberg is reporting the Biden administration is considering releasing another 10 to 15 million barrels of oil from the country's emergency stockpile to keep gas prices from increasing. The White House is not confirming the report.
I don't have anything to announce at this time. President Biden has said for months how he is committed to doing everything that he can in his power to address Putin's price hike.
In the spring, President Biden authorized releasing 1 million barrels per day for 6 months from the country's strategic petroleum reserve in a bid to help cut gas prices and reduce inflation. Critics say it's all about winning the midterms.
This is pure politics. It's really, frankly, kind of sick.
If not political, then the move is a Band-Aid, others say. In a statement, the American Petroleum Institute says the nation's strategic reserve is not a long-term solution to the economic pain Americans are feeling at the pump. Still, some Democrats argue the U.S. should reevaluate its ties with Saudi Arabia after the kingdom moved to decrease global oil production.
How are we letting them get away with 2 million barrels cuts per day when we are one of their biggest allies in supplying them with weapons?
The White House says President Biden is expected to make an announcement on Wednesday on what he's doing to bring gas prices down. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
A bit later, getting ready for the future.
For some people, it could be their second chance at life. I'm Jackie Abanez with a look at the cryogenics facility in the U.S. that's freezing people for the future. That's coming up.
Look at that mattress. Mic on if this is going to work. But yeah, it turned out to be a cold one for us today. Temperatures only into the upper 40s for afternoon highs. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Pretty much clear skies, and that's what we're going to see tonight. But look at these temps. Only mid-50s yesterday, only mid-40s for us today. Average high 70 degrees, so well below where we should be. Still freeze warnings in effect in Oklahoma, also in Arkansas. Got cold enough last night that Kansas and Missouri, we've already hit the end of the growing season. But look at these lows this morning. Mid-20s, we only rose into the mid to upper 40s during the afternoon. And now we're dropping back. We're at 33 in Greenfield, 31 in Miami, Parsons at 29, Fort Scott is sitting at 31 degrees. And we aren't alone. The entire Central Plains, look at this cold air knifing southward right through the Central Plains, but it is going to start to eject out of here as we go through the next 24 hours. Outside, 7th and Rangeline 32, winds are calm, humidity is 50%. By morning, you can see we drop into the 20s, overnight low 22, only back to 31 by 9 a.m. So it's going to be a cold night. We're going to have about 10 or 11 hours that we're going to be below freezing. Clear skies across the entire plains. This big upper level low is what's been causing that colder air to draw in from parts of Canada. Not too much going on out to the west, so at least the next couple days we are pretty quiet. Let's step through time. By morning, we drop back into lower 20s. Plenty of sunshine through the morning hours. We'll stop at the noon hour. Most of us are into the mid 40s. Let's go into the afternoon. We'll stop at 4:30. Some mid and upper level clouds increase, but you can see most of us are sitting into the upper 50s, so it looks pretty good. Here's your day planner: 24 at 7, 47 at noon. By 5, sitting at 56. Westerly winds are going to be light at 5 to 10. We get some mid and upper level clouds kind of streaming through tomorrow night. We back down into the upper 30s, and then Thursday we rebound all the way back up to about 70, 71 degrees. This is where we should be for this time of the year. Now, as we go into the weekend, look at this. So Friday, 80. We're going to hang out right around 80 Saturday and Sunday. But late Sunday night, chances for showers and thunderstorms working in. So that will be our next chance for rain across the region. 57 tomorrow. Let's go 72 on Thursday. 81 on Friday, 80 on Saturday. So we do heat up. It's going to be warm again. And then rain chances increase on Monday and then also Tuesday of next week, which, of course, we really need the rain.
Yeah, we heat up a ton. I can definitely say our football players in the area, high school and college, definitely caught a break, heating back up into the 80s for Friday and Saturday.
Now they're going to have to deal with the heat again.
All right. Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
There's something strange in the neighborhood, and it's a vacation rental modeled after the famed Ghostbusters firehouse. Beginning October 21st, fans of the classic 1980s film can book their chance to stay in the 2-bedroom, 3-story firehouse in Portland, Oregon. Coming up, how Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen gave a kid from Carl Junction the best birthday gift anyone could ask for. A U.S.-based cryogenics company is taking us inside its lab and unveiling how they're freezing patients for a possible second chance at life in the future. Fox News correspondent Jackie Abinez reports.
Inside these aluminum tanks of liquid nitrogen are the bodies and heads of roughly 200 people. The canisters are housed at an Alcor Life Extension Foundation's facility in Scottsdale, Arizona, where the patients inside, many of whom passed away from terminal illnesses, are preserving their bodies for the future.
Instead of just disposing of the patient, give them to us. We're going to stabilize them, stop them getting worse, and hold them for as long as it takes for technology to catch up and allow them to come back to life.
In order to be cryogenically frozen, a person must first be declared legally dead. But biologically, Alcor officials say a person's organs and body can be saved almost indefinitely.
Dying is a process, and cryonics stops that process.
Using a medical dummy, officials show how an ice bath, mechanical CPR device, and a respirator cool down a patient's body. Various medications are also used to prevent cells from damaging over time. Patients are then wrapped in what's referred to as a sleeping bag before placed inside their tank.
Once that's happened, the body becomes a true solid, and absolutely nothing is happening in the body.
Critics, meanwhile, say cryogenics is nothing more than science fiction.
Mainstream brain scientists, physiologists, they're not lining up saying, I think this is a sound idea.
But supporters say
1978, the first test tube baby was considered shocking, immoral, unethical, and people wondered, is this a human? And the same type of criticism is often reflected on cryonics.
It will cost you a minimum of $200,000 to freeze your entire body or $80,000 to freeze your brain. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Coming up, we're going to check out a partnership between Lay's and Balenciaga for a special designer bag. A new designer bag will definitely chip away at the buyer's budget. Jeannie Moos reports on the latest high fashion folly from Balenciaga.
Why just carry snacks in your bag when your bag itself can be a potato chip bag? Balenciaga showed models clutching the chip bag at its so-called mud show earlier this month in Paris. But this chip bag definitely isn't dirt cheap.
And that bag is going to go for $1,800, but it will be made out of calf skin leather and have a zipper.
Reportedly $1,800, chips not included. Someone joked, at Balenciaga, y'all taking food stamps? The bag will come in 4 flavors. This is the same high-end design house that created the trash bag, also in calf skin, that likewise costs $1,800. Of course, it's a fashion stunt, says celebrity stylist Philip Block.
It's all like, pay attention, notice me.
Many noticed they've seen a similar bag in canvas on the e-commerce site AliExpress, selling for $3.86. An $1,800 bag looks like a $3 bag that looks like $2 bag of chips. I'll have the chips. Not to mention, a leather chip bag lacks that distinctive crinkle. I say, been there, done that. I wore an entire suit made of chip bags, displayed at an art gallery. Almost as good as a garbage bag out in the rain. But that was almost 25 years ago.
Even then, it was snug. Like, I've had way too many potato chips since then to fit into that ever again.
Lay's potato chips, but you can't eat one.
But at Balenciaga, I bet you can't buy just one at $1,800.
These Lays are so expensive you practically need layaway. Genimos.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that's something that's not taking a chunk out of my budget. But that's our time for now, and thank you for joining us. But first, we'll leave you with a video of a jaguar cub at the San Diego Zoo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. We'll see you then.